We have reached the point in the semester where we'll now discuss our special occasion speeches. So what is a special occasion speech? A special occasion speech is a speech that is prepared for a specific occasion and for the purpose dictated by that occasion. So toasts are for weddings, eulogies are for funerals. So looking back at this definition, a speech is prepared for a specific occasion and for the purpose dictated by that occasion. Characteristics of a special occasion speech can be informative. They can also be persuasive. Sometimes you need to give your audience information to get them up to speed about what you're talking about. You can also persuade your audience to feeling the way you want them to feel. But ultimately, the goal of a special occasion speech should entertain and be celebratory of the moment or the occasion. It also should commemorate the person or the event. Its main purpose is to inspire the audience, and it can be used to set a social agenda, say for foundations, luncheons, any sort of fundraising event. Special occasion speeches are used. So there's a lot of types of special occasion speeches. You've seen them throughout your life. A lot of these you've seen speeches of introductions. So if you're looking at something like the Grammys or the Oscars, you have a host who then introduces the next guest or the next speaker. You have speeches of acceptance. These are for people who win awards. If they're Oscar winners, they're writing speeches of acceptance. Speeches of presentation, presenting an award to someone else, talking about that person's history. Then you have roasts and toasts, and there's a big difference. You want to make sure that you are not roasting people during their wedding. Giving them a proper toast is more appropriate. Eulogies are appropriate for funerals, obviously. Tributes. Tribute is the type of speech that you'll be giving for this class, and we'll talk more about that. After dinner speeches. So again, those are those fundraising types of events, those political events, kind of rallying your audience to support your cause or to think the way that you do, but for a special occasion. Speeches of inspiration. These are speeches that you would see at maybe a breast cancer walk, or I've seen this particular speech. I've seen Lance Armstrong's mom give a speech about being a great person. And then commencement addresses, so graduations. This is Ronald Reagan's eulogy to the nation. It's a eulogy to the nation regarding the Challenger speech. I'm going to skip over it, but I'm going to provide the links attached to this video so that you can watch these videos on your own. But this is a really important speech. It was one of Ronald Reagan's best speeches. We'll skip over that. But then we also have the tribute speech, and this is a speech to pay respects. This speech is Billy Crystal's speech to Robin Williams and Robin Williams' passing. Again, you'll have a link to this video that you can watch, but it is a really short clip that highlights a person's life. And lastly is the toast. The toast is to pay honor. So this clip looks at how do you give a proper wedding toast, the steps of giving a proper wedding toast, the do's and don'ts of that. If any of you have given toasts or if they've turned into roasts, that's unfortunate. So your special occasion speech should be entertaining. That's the main purpose of the speech. Use this speech to express emotion and to evoke emotion from your audience. The structure of your speech should, it's a little different from your other speeches. So what you want to do is you want to focus on the person, introduce the person, tell us who they are. Now, this is the meat of your speech. Here is the characteristics. I want you to reflect on the person that the person or the persons you could be paying tribute to, but really what are their characteristics, not necessarily what are their accomplishments or their history. I don't want that sort of biographical information. What I'm really looking for is their personal qualities, their characteristics. David Brooks, he describes it as your resume virtues. So the things that are at the core of the person that you would describe at their funeral or at a eulogy, but really at the core, like, were they kind, were they generous, were they giving, those types of things. Did they have a great sense of humor? Not really, they did this on this date and that on this date. You can include those, but that's really not the main focus of the speech. It's the greater sense of the person. The third point here is the impact. You need to reflect and think about what impact this person that you're paying tribute to, what impact have they had on you? And lastly, reflect and think about what is the lesson that your audience can learn from this person based off their characteristics and the impact that they've had on you. So this is a different type of speech. Looking at your speech assignment, here's some reminders. It's a 3 to 5 minute speech. You'll have to turn in your final outline, and you really do need a visual aid. You don't have to go all out and have a super elaborate visual aid, but what you do need is something like a focal point, because again, we are living in that audio visual age. People need a focal point, and especially if you're selecting someone that's your grandma or a lesser known person that we can't visualize in our heads, it's nice to have an image to support that. So you need a visual aid, you need to turn in your final outline. That's a 3 to 5 minute speech, and you need to practice your speech. Even though this is a shorter speech, it's really important that you practice your speech and that your last speech be the best yet. So some tips about giving a tribute speech. Really think about the person that you're talking about. If it's a loved one that you don't want to be argumentative or you don't want to be controversial. I don't want you to share too much information or get into too much personal detail, and avoid negative information. What you need to do is keep the mood light, be sincere, speak clearly, use emotion. So also, I'm saying use emotion. Use expressive language. Talk about, make your descriptions rich. Make them deep so that your audience gets the colorful or wide array to understand who this person is. Make your delivery heartfelt. Also, these speeches can be humorous and be funny, so be funny if you can. There's no need for forced humor, but be your natural self. Pace your speech. Really practice your nonverbals, your body movements, so that you can get all of those things under control. Let's see. Anything else? Yeah, just use vivid examples. Sometimes stories are really helpful to demonstrate the quality of a person. You can, in the characteristics or the impact, really talk about that personal bond that you've had together, and it will really connect your audience to the lessons that we can learn from this person that you're talking about. So looking again at the assignment, I want to just make sure that you understand that you need to select a person. It can be real, fictional, they can be alive or dead, they can What I don't like necessarily is objects. They can be an organization that works, but objects are kind of hard to pay tribute to. So if you're looking for ideas, people have paid tribute to their cats, people have paid tributes to their mothers, their grandmothers, their sisters, their brothers. But then there's been other famous people like Batman. Well, he's not, well, yeah. Batman, J.R.R. Tolkien, a lot of people, authors. Jesus was one of them. There's been a lot of anyone that you can think of that you want to pay tribute to and you want to highlight their characteristics. So if you have any questions, feel free to email me, and I look forward to your speeches. Thank you.